she gave a lot of credit to the leaders and the volunteers. And I want to echo that, because without the leaders, without the volunteers, there would be no opportunities for our children to be able to participate in scouting events. And I was when I got the invitation and heard that it was the 60th anniversary, I started rummaging through some of the little items that I had kept for my son and my daughters, some of their brownie badges. And what I found in a box was my son's, and I have to say, the parents will appreciate this, the kids won't. But my son is 37 years old, and his 9-year-old and his 5-year-old are in scouting in Milton. And he's had several, he goes camping as a parent volunteer, and he's learning what his parents went through on those camping trips. And he said to me the other day that, I guess I didn't thank you, but I'll thank you now for what you went through. But I had to bring this because it was just so cute. This was my son's beaver vest. When he was a beaver with First Meadowvale in 1983. And I found a few things. That's his first Meadowvale. I'm not sure why it's not sewn onto anything. I haven't quite figured that out. But this was the first Meadowvale, and I know you've changed the badge, but this was his. And I also found, and I do remember this beavery, 1984. How many of you were at the Mississauga District Olympic Beavery in 1984? Was anybody there? Nobody was there. I was probably the only one then. Okay, I feel very special. And for some reason I kept that as well, and it's just really cute. That's probably why I kept it. These are going to go over to his house now. I can get them out of my basement, and I don't think the vest will even fit his younger son who's in beavers. But I know they'll have a lot of fun looking at it and seeing what their dad did. And back then, I was actually a beaver leader with First Meadowvale. So this day is very special to me as well. And I only did it for a couple of years. And again, the mothers will understand this. When I was expecting my third child, I loved beavers, but that jumping up and down was really, really tough in my condition. Not even sure I could do it today, and I assume they still do that. Yeah, they do. Okay. I always said it was, you had to get those young kids. You had to build the energy. I'm not sure why we built the energy, because I think they came in with plenty of it. But it certainly didn't let off any of the energy. I think it just built them up a little bit more. But I had a lot of fun as a beaver leader, and then because I had two girls, I ended up being a brownie leader for about 6 or 7 years until I was elected to council, and then I just didn't have the time. So I had to give it up and did a little bit of volunteering. But I just loved it. And I want to say, I share this story. It's a brownie story, but it applies to the leaders, those of you that are in scouting as well. One of I guess about 6-7 years ago, a young lady who had been in my brownie pack, and she had been competing in the Special Olympics over in I think it was in Seoul, and she had won some medals, and we were recognizing at our Citizen Awards, the mayor and council, we were recognizing her and another young man, Curtis, for their achievements at the Special Olympics, with giving them a civic award of recognition. And I was so thrilled to see Chelsea there. We were downstairs at a reception afterwards, and Chelsea I went over to say hello to her and her mom and dad, and I've known them for a long time. They lived here in Meadowvale. And Chelsea was introducing me to one of their friends. And it was so striking that she didn't introduce me as, oh, this is Pat, she's our friend, or this is Pat, she's our counselor. Now this was, I guess, maybe 15 years, maybe 12 years after I had her in brownies. She introduced me to her friend, and she said, this is Pat. She was my brownie leader. I'm going, wow. That just really hit me, and I thought I hadn't realized at the time what an impact being a brownie leader or a scout leader or a beaver leader or cub leader actually is. But when you recognize that, when you hear years and years later that someone remembers you for being their leader, I think that just says it all. So I want to say to those of you that are leaders or volunteers, you certainly are appreciated. And not just by the parents, but by the kids that go through, and that you provide this service for, because scouting is so important. And as the mayor said, we had a time when scouting was really popular in Mississauga. I guess the 80s, 90s, started dropping down. What I'm starting to see, and I hope you are, is that those of us that had our children in scouting back during that time, they're now having their children join scouting and guiding. And I think that's just bringing it back again, because they remember what they learned and what great times they had. So I want to congratulate you on 60 years, and I also have a certificate, which I'll just briefly read, to First Meadowvale Scouts on the occasion of your 60th anniversary. It's my pleasure to congratulate the volunteers, scouts, parents, and leaders of the First Meadowvale Scouts as you celebrate your 60th anniversary. Over the past 60 years, thousands of scouts have benefited from the excellent education and skills training provided by First Meadowvale. I am so proud of the large role the organization has played in the successful development of our Ward 9 community. This is a very special occasion when current and former scouts and leaders can renew old friendships and share fond memories as we celebrate this important event. Congratulations again on 60 years of scouting in Meadowvale. Thank you and congratulations. I remember the left hand, the handshake, yes. Thank you.
We'd like to present you with a certificate to say thank you for coming out and for your anecdotes.
And my t-shirt, wonderful. I will wear them proudly. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.